Let's find out if you are accidentally making puppy problems harder to fix and causing training to take a little bit longer than it needs to. What tends to happen without even realizing it is new puppy parents follow some outdated advice, unrealistic expectations, or well-meaning tips that actually make puppy behaviors worse over time. But wait, I want to walk you through the biggest puppy training mistakes I see, not to scare you, but to help you avoid them. So raising your puppy feels calmer, clearer, and way more successful. I'm Michelle, your fear-free certified trainer with over 25 years of experience helping puppy parents raise confident, well-behaved dogs. Everything we're talking about today is about prevention over correction. What you teach your puppy now directly shapes the dog you're going to live with later. Mistake number 1, using outdated training techniques. One of the biggest mistakes puppy parents make is relying on old school training advice. But how do you know if you're using that kind of advice or those techniques? Well, if you're yelling, popping on the leash, using spray bottles, shaker cans, or intimidation, or showing the puppy who's boss, I want to let you know those methods don't teach puppies what to do instead. It teaches confusion, fear, and stress. And stressed puppies don't behave better. They bite more, bark more, shut down, or escalate. Fear-free, positive training works because it teaches skills, builds trust, and helps puppies feel safe during learning. People often think fear, pain, or intimidation works because the behavior seems to stop in the moment. But that learned helplessness masks stress, causes confusion, and bigger problems down the road. Learned helplessness happens when an animal or a person learns that nothing they do changes the outcome. So they stop trying altogether. They give up or shut down. Here's what that looks like in real life. If a puppy's scared, confused, or uncomfortable and keeps getting corrected, yelled at, or punished, no matter what they do, their brain starts thinking, I don't know how to make this stop. Everything I try is wrong. It's safer to do nothing. At that point, the puppy may look quiet, still, compliant, well-behaved, but they're not calm and they're not confident. They checked out, they're stressed. That's learned helplessness. That can show up later as anxiety, a fear response, or shutdown behavior. It can be seen in sudden outbursts or a lack of confidence and poor resilience in new situations. Mistake number 2, having inappropriate expectations for your puppy's age. At 8 weeks old, your puppy is not supposed to have impulse control. At 12 weeks old, your puppy is not supposed to know better. A young puppy's brain is still developing, and expecting adult behavior from a baby dog creates frustration for everyone. When expectations match development, the training becomes easier instead of exhausting. Examples of misaligned expectations. A 10-week-old puppy is supposed to be potty trained because they've been taken out consistently for the past 2 weeks. In reality, most pups aren't fully potty trained until they're closer to 6 months of age. Or a 16-week-old puppy begins chewing the table leg and you think they should be able to pick their toys over the furniture on their own. A really common one is labeling a puppy stubborn because they're doing something you just know is wrong and they know it too. This leads me to mistake number 3, labeling puppies as stubborn. There is no such thing as a stubborn puppy. Hear me out before you argue this fact. When a puppy doesn't respond, there are 4 things that could be happening. They don't understand yet, the environment is too distracting for them, or the skill hasn't been practiced enough, or they just haven't been taught what to do. But somehow you think they should know this already. Calling a puppy stubborn shifts the focus from teaching to frustration. When we adjust the environment or lower the difficulty and teach in small steps, behavior improves. Now, a common example of this mistake is when you take a puppy outside to potty or go for a walk and they pancake or lay down and won't budge. The real reason they pancake isn't that they want to upset you, but instead, it's because they are overwhelmed. They don't feel comfortable in that environment and they can't process or handle what's happening. It's really common for humans to determine what they think the puppy shouldn't be afraid of. But in reality, we don't get to make that choice. Instead, we need to honor the information they're giving us through their body language and behavior. Just like I can't tell you what you shouldn't be afraid of, we can't do the same for our puppies. Mistake number 4, rushing the training process. Puppy training isn't a race. When training is rushed, puppies miss foundational skills like settling, focus, and frustration tolerance. This is where we see problems pop up later, even in dogs that knew commands. Strong foundations create reliable behavior. I get it. You know what the finished skill or behavior should look like, but your puppy doesn't. When I used to teach group classes, I ran this exercise with my students. and it really stuck with them. I would ask one student to step out into the hallway. Then, with the rest of the group, we would decide on a behavior we wanted that student to perform when they came back into the room. But here was the rule. We weren't allowed to use any words. No instructions, no hand signals. The only thing we could do was say yes if the student moved in the right direction. Now, when the student came back into the room, they were completely confused. Everyone else knew what the goal was. That one student had no idea what we wanted. So at first, they tried everything. They walked around the room, they looked at us, they moved objects. They were just guessing and watching to see when they'd hear a yes. For example, if the goal was for them to walk around a chair and then sit in it, they might walk toward the chair and then touch it and move it and pick it up or stand next to it, all just trying to figure out what would earn them that yes. And slowly, step by step, as we marked the right choices, they started to understand. This exercise helped my students realize what training feels like from their dog's perspective. Dogs don't understand our words. They learn by trying things and noticing what gets reinforced. That's why effective training means breaking skills down into small steps, clear steps, and marking progress along the way. Now, when you connect those small steps together, you end up with the finished behavior. Mistake number 5. Inconsistent routines and poor schedule keeping. Dogs thrive on predictability. And without consistent routines, puppies don't know when to rest or eat or go potty or when to engage. That uncertainty, it shows up as biting, barking, zoomies, crate crime, and accidents. So a clear schedule supports emotional regulation, not just obedience. Now, we covered the key components of an ideal schedule in our last video in this playlist. I put a link to that video in the description below this video. Mistake number 6, overloading puppies. Overloading happens when puppies are exposed to too much, too fast, or forced to learn too many skills too quickly. Too many outings, too many people, too much stimulation, too much of something is not a good thing. True socialization and training are about quality, not quantity. Overloaded puppies struggle to settle and behave calmly later. They get easily frustrated and confused, and so do their humans, because they aren't seeing the results they hoped for. Mistake number 7, teaching tricks before life skills. This one really matters. This is a big one, and it's something most puppy parents don't realize until they're already frustrated. During your puppy's imprint period, that's birth to about 16 weeks of age, what you practice becomes what sticks the longest. So your puppy's brain is forming strong habits and default responses. Whatever you repeat during this stage becomes the behavior they offer first later on. So if you spend a lot of time teaching tricks like shake and roll over or spin, your puppy's gonna get very good at those behaviors. So good that they start offering them constantly. Not because they're trying to be cute, but because those behaviors have worked before. So a puppy who knows shake may start pawing at you for attention, or scratching legs, or jumping on guests, or clawing at you while you're trying to eat dinner or relax on the couch. And a puppy who's been rewarded for rolling over may now roll instead of holding a downstay, because that's the behavior they learned that gets them attention the fastest. Spinning can actually turn into frantic movement when a puppy feels unsure or overstimulated, especially if they learn that spinning is how they get engagement from you. These issues are extremely common. I saw them constantly in private training sessions. Not because the dog was being bad, but because the wrong behaviors became the strongest ones. That's why it's so important to think carefully about which skills you want to be the most reliable and teach those first. We're talking safety skills like leave it, drop it, and a reliable recall, or life skills like settling calmly, handling, grooming, and brushing. These are skills many dogs struggle with later because they weren't prioritized early. So for example, one of the most common reasons doodles or longer-haired dogs end up needing a full shave down is not coat type. It's because they were never properly desensitized to brushing and handling as puppies. People often say, "My dog hates being brushed," when in reality, the dog was never taught to feel comfortable with it. Or the dog that hates to have his nails trimmed, because no one ever spent the time to help him feel comfortable with that too. Those skills take time and should be started long before tricks are introduced. Now, tricks aren't bad, but they belong later. Life skills should always come first. This is exactly why we teach skills in a specific order in my online puppy training program. No random cues, but age-appropriate, real-life skills that prevent problems before they start. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of these mistakes. Now, none of these mistakes mean you failed. They mean you were doing the best you could with the information you had. The good news is that with the right plan, puppy training becomes simpler, calmer, and more predictable. I hope today's video left you with a few aha moments, some confirmations that you're on the right track, and some encouragement that training is actually easy once you understand your puppy better. That's my goal. I want to make training fun, easy, and doable, no matter what level you're at. I want you to think of me as the trainer in your back pocket, or your dog's interpreter. I help you understand your dog better and point you in the right direction when it comes to positive training techniques. This is also why I created our Puppy Perfection program for new puppy parents like yourself, no matter where you are in the world. Inside our online Puppy Perfection program, you're going to get a clear roadmap for puppy training, age-appropriate skills taught in the right order, fear-free, positive methods, and structure that supports calm behavior, as well as tools to prevent unwanted behaviors instead of reacting to them. So you can stop Googling, you can stop second guessing, and you can stop wondering if you're doing it right. Instead, you can feel confident, prepared, and supported as your puppy grows. If you want to raise a calm, well-mannered puppy without confusion or outdated advice, this program was built for you. See inside the program